Hey, warriors! It's Rick, your friendly neighborhood comic guy. Deal with all that later. Cross Comics, your friendly neighborhood cross guy for Cross Comics. Um, well, sorry to get started a bit late today. Um, like I said, I have church on Sunday, and then I end up taking a nap after church, and I've been listening to Mike Miller for his last day, so I just got distracted and set this up about an hour ago to let people know that I was here. Okay, it says one watching. Okay. Hey, hey, Oritz, is that how you say that? Evening. Um, so have you checked out anything on my channel yet? Oh, got two. Two watching now. One's probably me though. Cool. Hope you like what you watched. Um, this is my daily live stream. I'm not sure what you watched or whatever, but right now I'm doing Cross Comics is faith-based, Christian-based comic company. I gave myself a challenge about 12 days ago or something like that. Yeah, no, 11 days ago because we're on Second Kings today. To do 66 live streams straight in a row. And where I get the number 66 is one for each book of the Bible. Oh, cool. I'm glad that's what's drawing you here. I take it then you are a Christian? So today, like I said, we are going to be in Second Kings, uh, chapter 2, verse 1 through whatever. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so I'm going to now share my screen so you can see what we're reading. And type in any comments that you want on what I'm reading. Feel free. This is the first time I've actually had somebody here while I'm reading. And when I got this idea, I was listening to Mike, and he was going over some stuff that YouTubers say. Do something passionate. Well, I was already passionate about my comics. I already had that started up, and of course, I am passionate about God. So I figured do the 66-day live stream and bring God into it more than just saying about how my characters know God or whatever. So you can see what we got here. It's the Elijah taken up to heaven passage. So when the Lord was about to take Elijah up to heaven in a whirlwind, Elijah and Elisha were on their way from Gilgal. Elijah said to Elisha, "Stay here. The Lord sent me to Bethel." But Elijah said, "Surely as the Lord lives and as you live, I will not leave you." So they went down to Bethel. The company of prophets at Bethel came out to Elisha and asked, "Do you know what the Lord is going to? Do you know that the Lord is going to take your master from you today?" "Yes, I know," Elisha replied. "So be quiet." Then Elijah said to him, "Stay here, Elisha. The Lord has sent me to Jericho." And he replied, "Surely, as the Lord lives and as you live, I will not leave you. So they went to Jericho. The company of prophets at Jericho went up to Elisha and asked him, "Do you know what the Lord is going?" No, sorry, I'm not the best reader aloud. Do you know that the Lord is going to take your master from you today? Yes, I know. So be quiet. Then Elijah said to him, "Stay here. The Lord has sent me to the Jordan." And he replied, "As surely as the Lord lives and as you live, I will not leave you." So the two men walked. So the two of them walked on. 50 men from the company of prophets went and stood at a distance, facing the place where Elijah and Elisha stood. Stood. Ugh. Sorry. 50 men. I'm going to go back a bit. 50 men from the company of the prophets went and stood at a distance, facing the place where Elijah and Elisha had stopped at the Jordan. Elijah took his cloak, rolled it up, and struck the water with it. The water divided to the right and to the left, and the two of them crossed over on dry ground. When they had crossed, Elijah said to Elisha, "Tell me what I can do for you before I am taken from you." "Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit," Elisha replied. "You have asked a difficult thing," Elijah said. "Yet if you will see me when I am taken from you, it will be yours. Otherwise, it will not." As they were walking along and talking together, suddenly a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them. And Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. Elisha saw this and cried out, my father, the chariots and the horsemen of Israel." And Elisha, I should say, saw him no more. Then he took hold of his garment and tore it in two. Elisha then picked up the cloak that had fallen from him and went back and stood at the bank of the Jordan. And he took the cloak that had fallen from Elijah, struck it with water. Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" he asked. And when he struck the water, it divided right and to the left and to the right, and he crossed over. The company of prophets from Jericho were watching and said, "The spirit of Elijah is resting on Elisha." And they went to meet him and bowed to the ground before him. "Look," they said, "we, your servants, have 50 able men. Let them go back and look for your master. Perhaps the Spirit of the Lord has picked up and sat down on some mountain in some valley." "No," Elisha replied, "do not send them." But they persisted until he was too embarrassed to refuse. So he said, "Send them." And they sent 50 men who searched for 3 days but did not find him. When they returned to Elisha, who was staying in Jericho, he said to them, "Didn't I tell you not to go?" Okay, so that's where we're going to end. Now for my whatever commentary. What I get out of it, I'm not sure whether you. One thing is that if the Lord has put somebody over your life, stick by them, stick with them, no matter where they go, no matter how hard it's going to be. Elisha already knew, and it got reiterated to him quite a bit that before it happened, that Elijah was going to be taken. So he knew what was going to be happening that day. Yeah, instead of going off in a corner and not facing it, he faced it. And then as he asked for the double portion, I've heard sermons on this, and they've said some stuff that makes sense because it doesn't mean quite what I think we think it means here, although you, let's say, double portion. How can you get a double portion of the Spirit? I think a lot of us think like that, but I could be wrong. But, he asked for that, and he's told, keep your eyes on me, and you'll get it. And this huge, fiery, well, maybe not huge, but this fiery chariot comes down from heaven, or appears, or whatever, and it's got fiery horses. We're not sure how many, probably one or two. Usually that's what's pulling a chariot, I would think. Something like that would be I would say, a very big distraction. Compared to well, who knows what the size of the whirlwind would have been, but trying to keep your eyes on, Elijah going up in the whirlwind, all that wind going around might be a little hard, I would say. So, and this fire is almost right in front of you, so it's just amazing that he was able to focus on Elijah, and and it shows that when we can focus on what we need to and put the distractions away. And that's half what I'm doing with this. I got a couple distractions today. I even had distractions the first couple days of doing this live stream stuff. But all this week it's been noon, all except for today, like I've said in previous broadcasts. Sundays are always going to be a bit up in the air because of church. I'm at church at noon. Can't exactly do it there. I'm in the middle of helping out with the kids at my church usually. And then you see him get the double portion, or pretty much. And, people just don't want to listen to him about the other thing. So I'm not sure what more I can say about this. You want to chime in with anything, Orts? Give it a couple of secs to catch up. Or okay, I just wasn't sure whether you wanted to say anything about what you think of the passage or whatever. Because I think I'm pretty much done with the passage at this point. I can't think of much else to say about it. Sometimes you get more out of something than whatever. I know it's a famous story, and I've been doing some famous stories from the Bible and famous verses and all that. Oh, some aren't so. So I guess I will go over to my my characters. So, um, this is, and I tried to choose with the passage being sort of legacy. From Elijah to Elisha, I tried to choose some characters that would be legacy in my comic universe, and this is Flame Girl. She's not going to appear till at least about 5 years into comics. Well, she will, but she won't appear. The character is there, but she won't appear as a superhero till like 5 years in, because it's his daughter. You see his daughter, the Flame. The comic's name is Jason Post. His daughter is 5 years old when the comic starts, and although the version of you that sees her is when she first appears as Flame Girl is not the 5-year-old. It's a story arc that I've got planned for 5 years into the future. So I'm going to dim this and get my brush. Need to change the color of our brush. If you've got any questions for me, feel free to ask. So how is your Sunday going? I'm just going to call you Arts, okay? Or E. Which would you prefer? E or Arts? I'll make that slightly thicker. Um, I started my comic universe back when I was about 15. I am 45 now, so that is approximately 30 years. It might have been within a year. Okay, I'll call you Jimmy. You can call me Rick. That's Richard, my given name. I go by Rick. Um, but yeah, as I was saying, I got into comics. Little. I grew up watching Super Friends and that as back in the 70s, 80s. I was born in 73. So I was into superheroes a little bit. I became a Christian when I was like 7 years old. Good to meet you too, Arts. Um, Became a Christian when I was 7 years old. About 3 years later, my mom came to Christ. Um, and Which then got my walk a little bit further because 7 year old kid, yeah, they don't know a lot. I was just asked at a Sunday school class that I was attending whether I wanted to. I knew it was right, so I said yes, and I did. And 3 years later, approximately, my mom came, and I've been growing ever since. But I wasn't too big on reading back then. At 10 years old, really, what kid is? Well, there's lots of kids out there that are, but so my mom had. I was went to this Christian camp called Circle Square. It was a big one back in the like 80s here in Canada through a ministry called Crossroads or 100 Huntley Street. You may or may not have heard of them, but in the gift shop that they had, there were this comic Christian Archie comics put out by Spear. So my mom decided to grab them to try and help me to get to read. And well, that got me into reading regular Archie as well. And then from there, I found out Archie had superheroes. So when DC put out a line called Impact, making those characters, I started buying them on a regular basis. Oh, cool. Glad. Wasn't sure. I'm not sure where you are from. I think down in the States, most people are. Well, not most people. There's 8 billion people on the planet, and there's a billion people in China. But most people that I meet on YouTube are from the States. Uh, NC, North Carolina. Uh, uh, but to go on, um, not sure of all my states short things. Being out living up here in Canada, but yeah. So I got into reading, regular Archie through that, and then reading the Impact line by DC. And then right around that time, I think it was the death of Superman and Batman's back being broke, although I never got too much into that one, but I got into more of the aftermath of the Batman's back being broken. And so I started collecting the regular DC Marvel stuff at that point. And I came to the idea at some point after that, I think, I'm not sure exactly when, I could probably look at some of my old drawings and I might be able to narrow it down a little bit more. But when I was about 15, that's the time I'm saying at this point. Like I said, it could be within a year or two either way. I came up with the idea there needs to be Christian superheroes. And I just started creating stuff. Now, back then, I couldn't draw worth anything. And I also started, nobody to do the art. So I started my best art at doing any little bit of art. But back then, like I said, I couldn't draw worth beans. But I kept at it. And I borrowed a video from my library called How to Draw the Marvel Way. With Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, I think. Well, I knew who Stan Lee was at that point. I had no idea who Jack Kirby was and all that he had done. It was sort of sad. But, that was like, I think. uh, but, oh, yeah. But yeah, so that drastically, I'd say, helped my drawing ability because I started putting it into practice. And then now I'm nowhere near as good as DC, any of most of the artists at DC or Marvel. But, and this isn't even my best work here, but if I sit down and take a pencil and take my time, and that's my problem. A lot of times I don't take my time, I just rush it. That's what I'm really learning watching Mike and Ethan and all that. You got to take your time with this stuff. I thought these guys pumped stuff out art wise, within 2 or 3 days. Finding out, no. And unfortunately, I have not, even when right now I have one sort of out. I have my character, the Canadian Shield, out for digital download, his first book. It's an origin issue, so it's a little boring, and sometimes it can be, what's the word, redundant on certain facts about him. But in the book, but I have like 8 scripts written for him. A character that I want to bring out afterwards, whose name's Snowdrift. I have 8 scripts written for her. The character after that I want to bring out called, I think 12 issues written, and character after that I want to bring out called Insecto, I think I have 5 written. Then the character after that, Ozona, I think I have like 1.5 written. Then the Wiz, I'm not sure whether it's between 2 and 5 I have written the scripts, and then character after that, who's called Electide, I have, I think, 2 scripts written for her. And I wasn't a writer at first either. And, well, with nobody to write my stuff, I became a writer. And I think my stuff's pretty good. I'm not sure whether it's well, I'm not sure whether it's as good a quality as it, Marvel DC would have been back in the good days, but I'm sure it's probably better than their junk nowadays. Well, especially Marvel. And once my seventh character, Lectide, has her 12th book out, because my goal has always been to have these as ongoing books. And but once she's out, her 12th issue is out. So that would be issue 18. So when issue 19 hits of the Canadian Shield, it's going to be a crossover arc through all of them. And that's going to be when I form them as a super team called the Holy Warriors. And I don't know exactly, I got some details on how I'm going to do that, but not a lot. And through the year and a half, too, I'm going to be introducing other heroes in my cross verse, as I call it, cross comics, cross verse. And yeah, any ideas? What? Well, besides, any ideas for characters? I'll try not to steal. I'm joking, of course. Uh, Hello to the third person who's watching. I'm not sure who you are. I haven't figured out all the YouTube for the chat stuff yet. So if you just want to say a hi in the chat, I'll say hi back with your name. I've just been telling Arts here a little bit about Cross Comics. And I have also, so my character, well, I was saying about my group, I'm not sure whether I said the name. They're going to call themselves the Holy Warriors. So I'm taking a tip from all the other major artists at the moment on the indie scene. Well, I shouldn't say major artists, but like Mike, Ethan, and Mitch. You know, he Mike has the Lone Star Squadron. Um, Ethan's got the Centurions or whatever Rose calling them. I think that's what it is. And Mitch has got the Order of the Dawn. So I'm beginning to call my subscribers warriors. So any other questions? Anybody that's in the chat? I messed up her knee. I am using Adobe Illustrator, and I have a Wacom. I forget. I got a graphics tablet that allows me to draw directly into the computer, and I got that like less than a year ago. And well, got a bit of a learning curve using these programs, but I'm doing really basic stuff I know with the programs. Okay, so I think I got everything. Oh, no, eyebrows. But it's a lot of my well, not so my digital inking or whatever, because I'd say I'm horrible as an inker, but unfortunately, when I'm the only one doing everything, it's a little hard. You got to learn every single skill to make it look half decent product that people would want. And like I said, I do have that one for, yeah. Well, I can do, like I said, the drawings. The drawings are easy in a lot of ways. At least the people are easy. Backgrounds, I've done so many people stuff. People are fairly easy. Away. And what I'm doing here allows me to color it in really easy. So, okay, I need to bring that back. I'm going to undim the bottom layer there. So now we get the colors that she's supposed to be. And I bring it over. Now you see how flat, or for a lot, non-exciting those colors are there. I'm going to take this green and put it into this gradient thing here. Now, I've done characters with the white here, but I'm finding I like putting a black on either side. Okay. Because once I do, it looks, as you can tell from both, so much better, in my opinion, anyways. And I'm trying to do this with a lot of my drawings. So, oh shoot. Ah. Oh, I'll go over that later. If you see, I forgot to do those flames there, those edges there. So after I get everything else appropriately colored in, I'll go and do that. That way, I have hopefully everything else colored in at that point. Yeah, I felt, yeah, I like that trick for sure. It gives the illusion of some shading, which again, something I'm not the best at. Through watching Mike and Matt lately, I've been getting a little bit better, I'd say. But I am nowhere near the best. Okay, so, and I'm not sure. No, that's a slightly different color. Okay, so we're gonna, now I'm gonna change these. And you can even the other ones different colors. So I'm gonna take a yellow there. And I wasn't gonna do this one a different color, but I am. I'm gonna do it a red. And then we're gonna change the type of gradient it is to radical. So I'm gonna bring that out a little. And then when we put it in this fireball, looks a lot more Neat. Um, what? Let's bring that up a little. Well, it's supposed to be, girl. Yeah, I've watched some Gary stuff too. It's hard to keep up with all these guys. Okay, so we're gonna go back. Gonna use that. And oh, you know what? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use a trick that I remember. I haven't done this trick before. See what this looks like. Black. See what this looks like. This is the first time doing the blue with the black. Oh, that looks amazing. That I used to just put the white with it, but I just now decided to go with the blue because I remember how a lot of times professionals they have the blue there for sort of shading or whatever you want to call it for block the offset so it's not so whatever. So I should have kept that blue. The black. Grab it back and that looks awesome. Okay, so let's go in. Okay, so I need to correct right there. So white and one. Black, black. Okay, so we're basically done with the bottom layer. So I'm just going to delete the bottom layer because I know I need those things there, which I'll go and put in a sec here. So we're going to select all again, expand out of making so we can do the little bit of drawing that we need to do. Or line that we need to do. Out when you have the brush, eh? And then we just won't be exactly the same because I'm doing it freehand, but it should look nice enough. And then I think just put my whole drawing stuff up a bit. Let's see. Uh, I don't know whether it got thicker or not. Okay, so make again, and we'll unselect everything. Select color. So we can put it in there for her eyebrow. In there. And grab the yellow. There we have Flame Girl. Anyone know something? Oh. Yes. There. And she's now standing upright. Or flying upright. And now we will save as AI. And of course, AI stands for Adobe Illustrator. We do not want it as a PDF compatible file. And now we will export because for some reason Adobe doesn't allow you just to save as a PNG, but you're basically saving as a PNG. And I like PNGs because you can make the background transparent, and I can now take this image and post and put it on top of another thing without, the white all around or whatever, like you usually get. Okay, so and up next, I usually try and do a hero and a villain, or like good guy, bad guy for my things, and I try and have it coincide somewhat with whatever I'm reading. I was able to do it with her because of Legacy, Elijah and Elisha. This one, my villain here, Jupiter, is not really Legacy, or he might be. I'm not sure. I'm not sure his complete history. At some point, I'm going to do these things where the false gods come around, the old false gods, and like the Romans one, and have War of the Gods or something. Do the whole different thing. I have no idea when I'm going to do it in my comics, but I started creating versions of the old gods. I've had them be aliens at one point, or they may be or may not. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with everything. I create characters and characters and characters. And of course, my heroes are going to have to end up fighting all these quote unquote gods. Uh, and I wanted to try and use just the Roman one. I might bring in the other, like maybe Egyptian or whatever. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to bring in exactly because I found out it doesn't matter for any of the older, like the mythological gods and all that, because they're basically public domain characters. Like Marvel's Thor is a public domain because he's you know his incarcer that incarceration is not public domain, but I could technically create my own Thor character. They couldn't do a darn thing about it. True. Very true that they play into that. That's as I was saying, having the War of the Gods, have all these old. I think the premise, if I can remember right, that I was having that all these old gods come back, you know, and they start trying to enforce their dominance on mankind again, and well, my superheroes just won't have it. Well, society just won't have it either, but society has very little way of fighting back, because these guys have powers of some sort. Zeus is supposed to be able to throw lightning bolts and stuff like that. So Jupiter would be very similar because he's just the Roman version of Jupiter. But to distinguish myself, say from DC, that's why I've went with the Roman version. I'd like to do in doing the gods, especially if they're going to be somewhat popular villains or whatever. I'd like to, not have the same as DC or Marvel, the same mythology characters they're using. So that's my, sort of thoughts on that. I think where part of my thing is going, I've got so many characters. It's a good thing because I'm gonna hopefully in a couple months I'm reworking the art on my Canadian Shield because, as I said earlier, I'm not the best with backgrounds, so I end up taking a lot of pics from online. So, and now that I got this Wacom tablet, I'm started going into it and redoing the art, making it a little bit better, and recoloring it with the gradients and all that to make it look better. It's making an amazing difference, in my opinion. And anybody who buys the book off my website beforehand, I'm gonna, email them and say, hey, I've put out a new version of this with what I think is better art. So if you want it, it's free to download for you because you've already technically purchased the book. Don't feel like you should be trying to wiggle another 250 out of you for the better version. The remastered version, as they might say in movies. Yeah, we still got 3 people watching. So who's out there besides the arts? Who's watching me? I don't mind you watching me. I just like to know. Let's see whether I can figure this out. Present to cameraman. Eh, I'm just trying to see what I can do. I can't figure it out. I got to do that another time. You guys are wanting to watch me draw. Oh, hi, Hot Rebel. Or, I mean, yeah, Hoth Rebel. Sorry, not Hot Rebel. How are you today, Hoth? And just for those that may or may not be interested, I do have a Twitter. No problem. I just I like to know who's watching. I get curious. I see three or I got five people watching now. Hey, to the new two people. How hello? How are you? Six? Wow. Hello, all. How are yous? Um, this is the most I've had on a live stream. But what? And I'm on Instagram too. Now on Instagram and Twitter, I probably don't post as much as I should, but it usually lets you know when I'm putting stuff up or when I do live or whatever. I think that's a pain, especially if you don't have a keyboard on your phone. Hello to the two people that are extra two people. You want to say hi, chat, say something, ask me a question, feel free. We got Hoth Rebel in here and E Orbits Arts. I am doing my villain character called Jupiter here. Oh, four watching now. We're going down. Well, it was neat to have six. It's the highlight of my day. Well, maybe not the highlight, but we got five again. So, who are our people that have joined this uh, thing, this live stream? Like to try and interact with my people, my warriors. You can ask me pretty much anything. I'll answer almost anything. Just try and keep any comments clean. I'm trying to keep this kid friendly. Okay. This is a villain I have called Jupiter. He is based on the Roman god. Um, I'm not sure what I had decided at some point in my comics to do a story arc about called War of the Gods, and which basically is going to end up being all the gods of old, or a bunch of them, like Egyptian and all that. Uh, oh, we got six people in here now again. Hello to our sixth new viewer. But I was just saying, I'm planning on doing a story arc at some point in my thing called War of the Gods, and like I said, it's about all the old gods coming back, trying to enforce some sort of dominance over the populace of Earth. And while my heroes don't go for it, and this is what I've drawn up what Jupiter is going to be like. Basically, what I was thinking, and probably what I'm going to go for, is these old gods were some sort of aliens trying that had some sort of way with humans. You know, almost sort of like Stargate-ish, but they didn't have a Stargate to get here. They have like spaceships or whatever. You know, so that's what Mount Olympus would have been, a spaceship, or Valha, Asgard for the Norse or whatever. When they weren't down here, they were up on their spaceship or something. I don't know. I haven't completely figured it out because that's probably like 2 years down the 2 to 3 years down the road in my comic verse. Heck, I've got ideas for story arcs 5 and 6 years out. Some of those I know a little bit more about. Um, so, you know, being Jupiter, he will have probably lightning, some sort of lightning based powers because, you know, Zeus, Jupiter is basically the Roman version of Zeus. Hope that answers some of your questions. Hoth, sorry for making you type uh, on your phone. Well, like I said, hopefully your phone's got a keyboard. Not one of those old phones where you gotta press the number like 3 or 4 times to get a certain letter. That'd be a pain for typing for something like this. But I don't think you could stream something like this on that. So to the other anybody watching who's not Hoth or Arts, how are you doing? Because we got five in. It says five in here. One's me, one's Hoth, one's Arts. Hoth said he might be two because he's watching on two different things. So that leaves a possible one extra person. Although it might be action artist, might be at work, can't really talk or whatever. And this is a fairly old drawing, I think. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of all my drawings when I did them or did not do them. Or it might be a few years, a couple years old. I think it's at least 2 or 3 years old. Let's see. Okay, we only got four now again. But I'm satisfied. And for those who are watching or don't know, I try and stream at noon Monday through Friday. Well, Monday through Saturday. Sorry. This week, I'm probably only going to be doing one character on the stream. I try and usually do two, but I am helping out at my vacation Bible school at my church, so I won't have a lot of time at noon, or I probably just I won't have a lot of time. More accurately, I'll probably have like from noon to one or somewhere around then, because I'm doing the media. I'm a minor computer geek. Oh, we're down to 3. And that'll be Monday through Thursday. Friday, we're probably going to be a bit later in the day streaming because my mom has a cataract surgery that day at 7:30 in the morning, and we probably won't be home till probably no early. Probably the earliest we'll be home is like 12:30. Probably not till like 1 or later because she has her cataract surgery and then she's got to go to appointment right afterwards in the same building. Checking on how the surgery went for sure. But I'll try and stream. Hopefully I'll be able to be on and streaming by like 2 or 3. I figured I'd take noon to stream because that way then I don't interfere with Ethan or Mike or any of them. I'm not competing with those big names. Although Mike's got his going on right now, I think, because of his thing. But I waited long enough today. I wanted to get my live stream done for the day. Not that it's nowhere near bothersome. I love doing this, sharing my work, building up a whether you'd say clientele or fan base. There, building up a fan base across comics. Anybody's got any questions? Hope you like me blathering on. Is give me a sec here. I'm gonna reload YouTube on my tablet, which is where I'm watching the chats because I'm sharing my screen. Although it's usually where I watch my chats because I don't know how to get them up in my. Oh, okay. Have I seen The Last Jedi? Yes, I've seen The Last Jedi. Um, I'm not quite a. I thought it was all right. Was it probably the best thing they've ever done? No. Did I like what they did with Luke? Not really. But I'm not quite as energetic about it as Ethan. If you've been on Ethan Van Sciver's stream and hear him rattling on, I sit there and watch him rattle or listen to him rattle on, and hey, he has a right to his opinion. Oh, hello. Who's that? Might be Hoth. Who's number 4? If you're not Hoth, number 4, if somebody's news, join the group. Hello. Trying to keep an eye on my chat. The people in here trying to interact. And it certainly makes these live streams more better because When I started my first live stream like 10 days ago or something like that, it was like, oh, I would just I do my reading of the passage for scripture, and then it's like drawing. And okay, I know I'm drawing, but nobody's here to talk to. And sometimes that can be hard. I think that's everything for him. The animation. I don't think I've missed anything. So what did, well, I don't want to make you type off. I was going to say, what did you think of The Last Jedi? If you want to answer. I know typing on your phone can be possibly a pain. Yeah, we've made it. Unlock. Undo. Grab the I even seen Solo. Definitely, obviously, not the best Star Wars movie out there. Again, it was to me, it was all right. Not like I'm rushing out to buy it or whatever. You know, eventually, I'll like, yeah, me neither. I didn't like that he turned into the grumpy old man. Like, I just really can't see Luke becoming grumpy old man. Solo was just true. I would have liked to see him in that. To me, I'd probably say his death in thing was sort of pointless. Although the way that he did became the Force Ghost, he wasn't actually killed. So one might be able to say he could easily come back. Because unlike Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan's master, they both died and became a Force Ghost. Luke just made himself into a Force Ghost. It's almost like he did the thing that Elijah did. Well, not Elijah did. Enoch in the Bible walked and was not. So think about that. That could be a bit upsetting that they're trying to make Luke into an Enoch. If you believe in the Bible, I know I do. But they say he's supposed to be coming back as a Force Ghost. But I could see them. I think they could easily bring him back as a. When I really think about it, they could bring him back as a. He starts out as a Force Ghost, but then he comes back. Somebody convinces him. Oh, come back, come back. There's not really a big story with Enoch. They mentioned that he lived how long he lived, and it's in Genesis. Um, I'm not sure whether it's before or after Noah offhand. I think it's before Noah, but it just says he walked and was not. It doesn't say he died like everybody else. It just says he walked and was not. So So that is sort of interesting because that makes two people in the Bible that did not die, Enoch and, as we read earlier, Elijah. Enoch just walked and was not. And then Elisha was taken up in a whirlwind. Oh, it's something I thought of right this second. You could all, just like with Luke in Last Jedi, you could probably almost think of it just like that, where Luke was walking and then he was just simply not there. And just in case, I need to correct that a little bit in there, just so it does. And in case you're wondering why I chose the main colors of this is Jupiter is, you may know, supposed to be a big red planet, so that's the red for his costume, and I picked the purple because purple is supposed to stand for royalty. So okay, liked what I did with the blue on the last one. Oh, I choose blue again. Okay, so need to random get them out of the live paint so we can go in. Our color or stroke color black. And go in here. Do that. Make sure there's nothing else. Control A. Expand object. Or, eh. Oh, I know what the problem is. Get something else. Oh, I want to get that out of there. Oh shoot! Well, I was forgetting to do something. Forgot to put the little black dot on that. But I can do that easy enough. Okay, now question is, oh no, I'm gonna go to my skin tones, not swatches. Skin tones. Yeah, that might be about right for that way. Okay, so okay. Oh, we got one like. Thank you for whoever liked. Can get this out of. Oh, so, any other questions or thoughts, people? Because this guy is pretty much done. Could put a couple lines on this. I just so this is Jupiter again, king of the Roman gods. We will save him. Okay, Hoth. Catch you next time. I will be on tomorrow at noon. Monday through Saturday, I'm on at noon, and me and Action Artists are planning on Saturdays between 4 and 5 to do something, do a live stream if you want to try and catch that. And that will be on his channel. He's got the more subs, so gives more he's seen by more people. And if it ever becomes the reverse, I'll gladly take it onto my channel and let him have the exposure. There, that's the word I was looking for. Exposure. It gives me exposure being on his channel. Because right now I have like 23, 24 subs. There's 23 here, so and I guess that's also a cue for me. Um, for anybody who watching who was not in the live stream, be sure to hit that like button and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you've yet to, and be sure to hit the notification bell to let know when I'm putting up stuff. Check out the rest of my content on this channel. Um, stop sharing. Um, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram under Cross Comics. You can also find me on Facebook. I have a page for Cross Comics, and I also have a group for Cross Comics. They both have content. Some is similar, some is the same, some is different. What else? Um, I do have another channel that called the Pied Piper of Hamilton. It's not about comics all that much. It's about some stuff I do in Hamilton and whatever. I was trying to promote that channel a lot, but this one I've decided to promote more at the moment because I have. But it's got some good content too. I don't really go a lot into scripture over there, but it's a clean channel. There's some fun stuff on it, I think, anyways. Um, so check out the content on there, and I'm not sure what else to say. Oh, no problem. We can still hang out and talk or whatever if you want, Jimmy. Only thing I'd probably be doing from here is going back over to Mike's and listening to him. I just wanted to make sure I got my daily live stream in, and however long it took, it took. Because that's saying it's down to one. So, are you even here, Art, Jimmy? Okay, only one watching. That's me. So we will say bye for now. Be sure to check out our live stream tomorrow. Bye for now, and God bless. Love you all.